The first time I heard it, I thought it was a baby. It was close to midnight and the whole house was quiet. My younger brother was breathing softly on the mat beside me, and my mother was snoring faintly, her hand resting on her chest. The kind of deep sleep poor villagers earned after a day in the sun. At first, it was just a thin sound, carried on the wind, like a small child whimpering. I rubbed my eyes and sat up. It wasn't a dream. The sound was real. Then, it changed. It stretched into a woman's voice, low, broken, and painful. A sound that pulled at my stomach and made my skin tighten. It was coming from the woods behind our house. Everybody in the village knew about those woods. Old people said spirits lived there. My mother always told us not to play too close, especially at night. Even grown men avoided walking near it after sunset. They said the trees had seen too many bad things, that some people went in and never came out. That night, sitting up on my mat, I finally understood why. The crying grew louder. I thought about waking my mother, but before I moved, the sound shifted again. It called my name. Chinadu. I froze. My chest turned cold. Nobody should know my name in that voice. It was stretched and broken, as if the mouth that spoke it wasn't used to talking. I held my breath. My mother had warned me, if you hear strange things at night, don't answer, don't even whisper. But I couldn't stay still. My body moved to the window like something was pulling me. I pushed the curtain just a little, and I saw her. She was standing between the first row of trees, half in the moonlight. Her body was white, like ash, and her hair covered her face. She looked like a woman, but her legs were bent the wrong way, like a goat's. Her head lifted slowly, and I almost screamed. Her mouth stretched wider than any human mouth should be. And then she said it again, soft but clear. Chinadu. Come. I jumped back so hard I hit my mother's arm. She woke up instantly, ready to scold me. But before she could speak, she looked past me, through the window. Her eyes widened. She saw it too. She grabbed my hand and whispered a prayer, fast and shaky. My brother woke up crying. The woman outside didn't move. She just watched us. My mother reached for the palm oil she kept in a small calabash near the bed and smeared a line across the floor, muttering words I didn't understand. The woman's face twisted like smoke, and then she vanished. The crying stopped, but I swear I still heard it in my ears long after. The next morning, my mother told us never to speak of it outside. She said talking about it gives it strength. But she also said something that made my blood run cold. If she calls your name once, she will come again. And next time, it will be harder to resist.
The next morning, the air in the house felt heavy. My mother didn't smile, didn't even hum the way she usually did when sweeping the yard. She sat me down and looked me straight in the eyes. "What you saw last night, don't ever go near it," she said. Her voice was low, almost like someone might be listening. I nodded, but I wanted to ask questions. My brother didn't. He was too young, but I could tell he remembered the crying. He wouldn't leave my side the whole morning. While we ate breakfast, my mother told me something I never forgot. She calls the names of those she wants. Once she has called you, you must never answer. You must never step outside, even if your legs want to. If you do, she will take you, and what comes back, she stopped and shook her head. It will not be you anymore. I tried to laugh, to pretend I wasn't scared, but deep inside, I knew she was telling the truth. I had seen the bent legs, the too wide mouth, the white eyes. That was no dream. Later that day, I went outside to fetch water from the stream. Everything looked normal at first. Kids running, women pounding yam, goats wandering. But the closer I got to the stream, the quieter it became. The trees there leaned over the path, their shadows darker than usual. When I dipped my calabash into the water, I froze. Right behind me, on the surface of the stream, I saw a reflection. Long hair, a white face, standing too close. I spun around, nothing, just trees and grass. I dropped the calabash and ran back home. That night, I couldn't sleep. I kept hearing whispers outside, like people talking low, but when I pressed my ear to the window, it was just the wind. Then I heard my name again, not loud this time, just a faint, dragging whisper. Chi, ne, do. My mother sat up instantly. She must have heard it too. She whispered prayers, rocking back and forth. My brother clung to her, crying into a wrapper. We didn't open the window. We didn't move, but the whispering didn't stop until dawn. The next day, I learned something that made everything worse. A boy from the next compound had gone missing. His mother said he woke up in the night, told her he heard someone crying. By the time she realized he wasn't in bed, the door was open and his footprints led straight into the woods. They never found him.
The whole village was restless the day they couldn't find the boy. His name was Obinna. He was only 9. People gathered at his compound whispering, shaking their heads. Some men went into the woods with cutlasses and lanterns, calling his name. They came back before nightfall, faces pale, saying they couldn't find a single trace, not even footprints past the first few meters. It was like he had just vanished. The boy's mother wailed so loudly it carried across the village. She shouted that she had heard the crying too. She said she told her son to stay in bed, but he slipped out while she dozed off. My stomach turned cold. That was exactly what almost happened to me. That night, my mother made us sleep with a small fire burning inside. The smoke stung my eyes, but she said it was better than letting her come too close. She didn't explain who she really was, but I already knew. I lay awake for a long time, listening to the crackle of the fire. My brother whimpered in his sleep. At some point, I drifted off, until I heard something. Knocking. 3 slow knocks on the wooden door. I thought I was dreaming, but then I saw my mother sit up fast, clutching her Bible. The knocks came again, louder this time. And then, Obinna's voice. "Auntie, it's me. Open the door." I froze. I had played with Obinna many times. I knew his voice, but it was wrong. The words dragged like they were being pulled through mud. My mother hissed and motioned for me to stay down. She whispered, "Don't answer. It's not him." The voice came again, softer now. "Chinedu, open. It's cold outside." My chest tightened. My name again. My legs twitched like they wanted to move, like someone was pulling invisible strings tied to my knees. The fire flickered. The air felt heavy. My brother started crying. My mother grabbed the calabash of palm oil again and drew a thick line across the door, muttering prayers under her breath. Then came the sound I will never forget. Nails, long, sharp nails, scraping down the wood, slowly, from top to bottom. It lasted for minutes. We sat in silence, listening. Finally, the scraping stopped. By morning, when we opened the door, 3 long scratch marks scarred the wood, and on the ground outside, the dirt was marked with footprints, bare human footprints, but the toes pointed backwards.
After Obinna's disappearance, the elders called a meeting. They sat under the big mango tree in the village square, their white beards shaking as they whispered. I wasn't meant to hear, but I crept close enough. What they said made my heart race. They spoke of a woman who had lived in the village long ago. They said she was accused of witchcraft, blamed for sickness and crop failures. One night, the villagers tied her to a tree in the woods and left her there to die. Some said she begged for mercy until her throat bled. Others said she cursed the whole village before she stopped breathing. Her spirit never left. At first, she haunted only the woods. Hunters would hear crying and run the other way. But over the years, she grew stronger. She began to wander out, calling the names of children. Some followed, never to be seen again. The elders said her spirit feeds on the living. Each child taken makes her voice louder, her reach wider. When I heard this, my stomach knotted. She had called my name twice already. That night, I didn't sleep. Every sound outside made my skin crawl. My mother prayed until dawn. She told me if I heard her again, I must cover my ears and never look. But deep down, I knew it was only a matter of time before she returned.
The haunting didn't stop when the sun came up. One afternoon, I was fetching firewood near the edge of the woods. The sun was bright, but the trees cast heavy shadows. I bent to pick a stick, and when I looked up, I saw her. Not fully, just a glimpse between the trees. A woman in white, standing too still, watching. Her hair hung down, and though her face was hidden, I felt her eyes burning through me. I dropped everything and ran. That night, she came again, this time not crying, laughing, a slow, broken laugh that scraped like metal. Chinedu! I pressed my hands over my ears, but the sound leaked through. My brother shivered beside me. My mother sprinkled salt at the windows and door, whispering prayers until her voice cracked. The laughter faded, but I couldn't shake the feeling that she was getting closer each night.
A week later, things got worse. We woke to find a small charm tied to our door. Cowrie shells, feathers, and a piece of red cloth. My mother's face went pale. She said it was a calling mark. It meant the spirit had chosen our house. That night, the knocking returned, louder, harder. The walls shook. Chinedu! Open! I'm waiting! Her voice wasn't outside anymore. It was inside, whispering right into my ear. I screamed, and my mother slapped me across the face, shouting prayers as tears streamed down her cheeks. The fire almost went out. The air was thick, choking. My brother fainted. My mother held the Bible against his chest, rocking him until his breathing returned. The banging stopped only at dawn. When we opened the door, the charm was gone, but on the ground, written in ash, was my name.
By then my mother knew we couldn't stay. She packed our clothes in silence, her face tight with fear. But before we left, we had to survive one more night. That night, the spirit came harder than ever. The crying, the laughter, the knocking, it all came together, louder, closer. The door rattled, the roof creaked. I swear I saw her face pressed against the window, mouth stretched too wide, eyes white and glowing. Chinedu, come. My body rose from the mat without me meaning to. My legs started moving toward the door. I fought it, shaking, tears streaming, but I couldn't stop. At the last moment, my mother threw a gourd of palm oil across the floor, shouting words I didn't understand. My body froze, then collapsed. The spirit screamed so loud the lamps blew out. Then silence. We sat in the dark until dawn. The next morning, without a word, we left the house. We never went back. But even far away, even surrounded by people, I still felt her eyes on me, and I knew part 1 of the nightmare was only the beginning.
Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to this channel. We have amazing stories and folk tales just for you. Subscribe for more African folk tales.